President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi returned home after his participation in the emergency Arab Islamic Summit, which was held in Qatar. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi expressed the Egyptian complete solidarity with Qatar against the Israeli aggression on its territory. The president made these remarks as he delivered a speech at the Arab Islamic Emergency Summit hosted by Qatar and co-chaired by the Organization on the Islamic Cooperation, that was meant to discuss the repercussions of the Israeli unprecedented attack on Doha. President al-Sisi said such an attack clearly reflects that the Israeli practices in the region crossed all the red lines beyond any political or military logic. He stressed the necessity of creating an Arab Islamic mechanism for facing the challenges in the region. The head of state reiterated the Egyptian absolute rejection of the planned evacuation of the Palestinians from the land, as well as the Israeli collective punishment and starvation policies in Gaza. He stressed that the military escalation will undermine all the mediation efforts and hamper any opportunity for restoring peace in the region.
On the sidelines of his participation in the Arab Islamic Emergency Summit in Doha, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with the Qatari Emir, the Turkish President and the Pakistani Prime Minister.
The talks asserted the Arab and the Islamic leaders' solidarity with Qatar in the wake of the Israeli unprecedented attack on its territory, and again called for the halt of the Israeli genocide war on Gaza.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Monday offered condolences to Qatari Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani over the victims of the brutal Israeli attack on Doha. The president made these remarks with the Qatari Emir on the sidelines of his participation in the Arab Islamic Emergency Summit in Doha, expressing Egypt's condemnation of the Israeli flagrant violation of the Qatari sovereignty and its complete solidarity with the fellow Arab country in any procedures it may deem necessary to preserve its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Both sides stressed the importance of polarizing a joint vision to the Arab collective action against regional threats to protect the Arab regional security. The President made similar remarks in a separate meeting with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, where they condemned the Israeli attack on Qatar being a flagrant violation of the international law and the United Nations principles. They renewed their absolute rejection of the Israeli side's siege and starvation policies against the Palestinian people, as well as its continued attempts to evacuate them from their land. The two leaders also stressed the necessity of ending the catastrophic humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip, and noted that the only means to restore sustainable peace and stability in the region was the establishment of an independent Palestinian state along the 1967 borderline, with eastern Al-Quds as its capital. Meanwhile, in a meeting with Pakistani Prime Minister, President Sisi was keen to express his condolences and solidarity with the Asian country over the victims of floods that swept the country, as well as terrorist attacks. The two sides expressed their denunciation of the Israeli attack on Qatar, with the Pakistani Prime Minister hailing the Egyptian pivotal role in containing regional crises.
The leaders of Canada, France, Egypt, Jordan, Qatar and Britain held a video conference to discuss the situation in the Middle East. All leaders agreed that the focus must remain on advancing peace and security, including reaching a lasting ceasefire, securing the release of all hostages, and scaling up flows of life-saving assistance for Palestinian civilians. Addressing the conference, the president renewed Egypt's full condemnation of the Israeli attack on Qatar and said that the aggression comes within Israel's measures to put obstacles implementing a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. The head of state reiterated that the Palestinian question will continue to be a central issue in the Arab world, asserting the significance of expanding recognition of an independent Palestinian state. He further stressed the importance of facing all measures that impact the humanitarian situation in Gaza and affirmed Egypt's complete rejection of the forced displacement of Palestinians from their lands.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met on Monday with the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian on the sidelines of the two presidents' participation in the emergency Arab Islamic Summit in Doha. The presidential spokesman stated that the Iranian president began the meeting by reiterating his thanks and expressing his appreciation to the president for the Egyptian role in facilitating the negotiations between Iran and the International Atomic Energy Agency, which led to the agreement to resume cooperation between them, signed in Cairo on September the 9th of 2025. The presidential spokesman indicated that the two presidents addressed the delicate situation facing the Middle East, the latest manifestation of which was the Israeli aggression against the state of Qatar.
Egypt's stock market indices fluctuated in the trading session amid selling and purchasing operations by optimistic investors on both directions. The benchmark EGX 30 index gained 0.15% to close at 35,165.84 points, but the EGX 70 index for small and medium businesses lost 0.5%, while the broader EGX 100 index also decreased by 0.4% at the closure. The market capitalization gained £12 billion to close at £2,520 billion amid transactions of about £43.19 billion.